your specially trained canine that are, trained on freeways, on roadways, jumping medians, doing whatever they need to do. And I wonder just how far these canines will go to get the suspect, to get their target.
Well, I'll tell you, very infrequently can a suspect outrun a canine.
Right.
Once they get out of that truck, that canine's going to get cut out of the door, and he'll just chase off after that suspect, and it usually doesn't last very long. But to your point, Juan, CHP canines do go through their training with the California Highway Patrol, and they are certainly trained on how to deal with navigating freeways and medians and sound walls and different obstacles that may kind of approach them when they're in the course of their training with the CHP. As we're looking at this GMC truck that's had their kind of right turn signal on, it looks like, I guess, something's writing on the back window or something kind of right there. In that
might be somebody's work truck too, Mike, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, potentially. And that plate, I can't tell if that's a regular plate or a temporary plate as well. That plate looks slightly off.
It looks a little black and white. It could be a dealer plate or a temporary plate for sure. And you can see a little bit of the molding on where the rim is that's coming off the car as well. So we're seeing some damage to the frame of the truck as well.
Yeah, and I think when Des just doubled in, it did look like a dealer plate or a plate of a newer car. So that kind of sucks too. I mean, if somebody just bought this truck and it's been stolen and now it's on lost the front tire, there's now body damage from the molding that is coming off as a result of losing the tire. I mean, it's really unfortunate for whoever owns it.
I wonder if it's a loaner truck too. Sometimes car dealerships have that writing on the window where it'll say loaner vehicle or something like that.
Yeah, like a courtesy car or something.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond, going a lot slower than we first were when we first came to you.
Yeah, down to maybe 40-something miles an hour, but this truck is still really taking it, just kind of cruising along at 40-ish miles an hour. That we're not seeing more sparks or flames or really intense heat coming from this is kind of remarkable at this point. Usually we start to see the nonstop sparks by now. In fact, when I heard about this, I was kind of briefly worried that you could start a brush fire or something if he was in the right-hand lane, because we have actually had brush fires start on the 14 freeway because of sparks coming from vehicles before. So fortunately, obviously that did not happen, but it looks like we are going to be making our way into Mission Hills now at this point. Southbound on the 405, so we've already made the transition here. It's just been kind of staying to the right the entire time. So we'll be crossing the 118. They could take the westbound 118 from here, or we're gonna just get into busier and busier territory. And we know there's been a lot of Caltrans work on the 405. I don't think they're working this evening though in the Sepulveda Pass with that lengthy project, but regardless, just getting into a much more populated area. We've covered a lot of ground, obviously, making our way from Palmdale, and a lot of ground as well on only 3 tires now at this point. It's only had 3 tires since we came to air. That tire fell off just shortly before we had it there on the lens. Right around Ogwood Gilsey, I believe, is where that came down. So it is still, pun intended here, back up to, we were down to 40, but now back up to almost 60 miles an hour, and wonder how much more this truck can take before it just causes so much damage that it will become undrivable.
Yeah, he's going to run out of gas, before he gets stopped by the tire that's no longer there.
Missing front tire.
Desmond, let's talk about other ways that the CHP can try to get this guy to stop. I mean, right now, again, we have a spike strip that's already been activated. With the pit maneuver would be very difficult, especially at these speeds, right?
Yeah, we definitely. I don't think we would see a pit, especially with only 3 tires. We have seen multiple spike strip attempts before, though. I mean, I don't think there's anything stopping them if they wanted to try to spike the passenger side front tire. They could potentially do that, and the suspect's been kind of sticking to one lane consistently enough, and now with speed slow enough that they would be able to time it if they were really that devoted to trying to get this over. But now we're starting to see quite a few more sparks, and like you said, Juan, we were covering that pursuit together with that semi that caught fire. Right, that is going to be a real concern for this suspect. And you can just imagine if the owner of this is watching right now and just gasping. I mean, I know how much a lot of people that buy these trucks, they really, really love these trucks, and they are not cheap. I know that. So it's just really got to have the owner's heart sinking watching this, and hoping that the vehicle stops before any more damage is done, before it becomes a total loss.
We're definitely seeing a lot more sparks there. And Mike and Desmond, you both will know, do you think that's a spike strip or a piece
on the driver's side front wheel?
It might be some molding from the vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a spike strip?
No, I think that's the molding. But look, when you look under, it's not the rim that's sparking. There's something else underneath of the truck that it looked like when he hit one of the bumps, he got dislodged, and it looks like it's kind of hanging down there, almost just slightly to the right of the rim, and that's what keeps hitting the ground. Every now and again, when it catches the light just right, you can see it kind of bouncing there, and then it hits the ground and sparks. But if you look at the actual rim, the sparks aren't coming from the actual rim. So it looks like there's something else underneath of there that is dragging kind of on the ground that is causing those sparks. But Juan, to your question, that to me looks like the molding. I don't think it does. Let me tell you tell me what you think as well. I don't think that's one of the spikes though.
No, I think you're right. I think it might be kind of part of the wheel well that was probably
it's kind of flapping around.
damaged, maybe from that spike strip or when the wheel dislodged and caused that damage. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what is underneath right there. What Mike would be talking about. I mean, if it's part of the brake caliper that's making the contact already, or we're definitely a very heavy duty components as well.
There it is. Whatever it was, it fell out.
It's just
And the spark stopped. Yep.
it's really just a.
Go
But
back and
this has
look.
got to be super uncomfortable to drive too. I mean, there's got to be a horrible grinding noise that's coming, into the cockpit, and a nasty smell probably to go along with it. Here, as they're in the left lane. Look at this. We actually briefly picked up speed.
Oh!
Really heavy sparks now. Now it's really getting serious. Yeah, at this point, and now we're in serious jeopardy of a fire. And the suspects actually got their hazard lights on now, and slowing down a little bit more and getting over to the right. And let's just hope the suspect has had enough now, as they're getting off here at Roscoe. So another very busy exit here. Are they going to be able to stop the vehicle okay here at the bottom of this off ramp? Let's see as we come up to this T intersection here. But this is going to be really frightening for anyone in this vehicle's way. Okay, doors open.
Oh, he's giving up.
Got hands out all of a sudden.
Party
So
pooper.
I think it just maybe got a little bit too uncomfortable for this suspect at this point, and finally kind of wised up to not burn the truck down potentially, but. The writing was really on the wall one way or another. There was no getting away, especially after that tire fell out. And so they decided they had enough, and they were even courteous enough to get off of the freeway here at the bottom of the off-ramp, so CHP won't have to block the entire 405, hopefully just the Roscoe off-ramp. Suspect coming out immediately with their hands up, and as long as we'll see if there's nobody else in the vehicle. But, just like that, comes to an end here in the North Hills Van Nuys area.
The good thing is they didn't have to deploy that canine, right, Mike?
Yeah, there he is. Look, right there on the left side of your screen. That canine
Ready to go.
ready to go. That officer with the blue vest, and you see the dog barking and letting them know he's there. That is certainly a deterrent for people, by the way, when they are deciding whether or not what their move's going to be. They hear that dog barking.
That'll get you moving for sure. I mean, he came out, with his hands up without even the commands that were usually, they usually shouted after that they come to a complete stop. But here they are right now. He came out first out of the car. Obviously, they don't like, suspects to do that because of the fact that they could be armed and they don't know. But it looks like they've already checked for that, and now they're just going to clear him and put him into this vehicle and put him under arrest. Looks like this is now coming to an end after they cleared the
Somebody else in
vehicle.
there.
We're going to go to the passenger side. And this is on the right side of your screen. What was happening right before the suspect decided to actually exit off Roscoe off the 405 freeway. First time we're seeing them on surface streets, by the way, during this whole chase. They were mostly on the freeways. From the 14 to the 5 southbound to the 405 southbound. And they just pulled over here and got right out of their car without officers even having to yell their commands as they usually do after they come to that stop. But it looks like it's coming to an end here.
And it was those massive sparks that finally convinced the driver to get off the freeway. Look at that, still sparking there. This is on the right-hand side of your screen. Just seconds ago, when he came to a stop, he luckily was able to stop the truck right there at the red light. Came outside, didn't even turn around, Susie. Look at this, didn't even turn around. It was hands up. And in fact, we didn't even see him turn around until after officers turned him around after he was in cuffs already.
That's right. And looks like he is in cuffs now. And the CHP officer reading him his rights, I imagine, and is going to be put into that car and then hauled off to jail for night. And, it's interesting because, again, the spike strip on the freeway and the position that CHP officers have to do something like that. All right, it looks like the stolen pickup pursuit comes to an end,
Yep,
and
code 4.
that's right. CHP officers arrest the suspect.